There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.
Welcome to the Star Power Podcast on the Fangirl Zone, a podcast where we discuss Stargirl on the DC streaming service and the CW channel. I'm Steve.
I'm Sean Fangirl S, and joining us today, we have a special guest all the way from the Nerd Element, Kim. Yay!
Hi guys,
Hey,
it's been a long
Kim.
time. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, we're so happy to have Kim join us today. A little sad because Dave couldn't be here to put his tinfoil hat theories like head to head with Kim. Because Kim has had some good ones in the past. Kim has joined us on several podcasts in the past. And like I said, she is from the Nerd Element. So if you want to hear her own theories for other shows, you can head over there and visit her as well.
Thank you for that plug.
But today we'll don our own tinfoil hats and talk about episode 12. Steve, take us away.
All right, episode 12, Stars and Stripe, part 1. With the ISA on their trail, Courtney, Pat, and the team regroup to figure out their next steps. Meanwhile, Rick makes a breakthrough and the team prepares for a showdown with the ISA. Toa Frazier directed the episode, written by Melissa Carter.
Oh my gosh. So, I don't know. There was so much going on in this episode and so many moments where I'm like, come on! So, I don't know. I watched it with my husband and he was like, wait, it's almost over already? How many episodes was this? Like 5? I'm like, no, honey, we're on 12.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, really? So even he has been so sucked in, it's like you don't even realize where you are in the series. And although he brought up the same thing, I think we've all brought up, like, are we ever going to find out anything about that pen that was giggling or any of the other...
Gosh, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, the pen, I think, is still at the house, by the way.
Right.
Or
yeah,
any of
the
the other
pen and all
pieces.
the rest of the stuff that Courtney took from the JSA HQ is in that bag in her storage.
Well, I feel like that ended up coming with, which we'll get there. But like the pen, I think she totally forgot about.
Right, probably.
That's why I feel like it's like it was a set, like not a big setup, but almost like spotlight on this and then poof, it disappeared.
Right. No, the same with the Green Lantern's lantern sparking there for an episode.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, okay, and nothing.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not going to get anything now till next season. And that's like, come on, at least give me a little bit more. Go back to the pens and just feel like, I don't know, have somebody look at her pen case or whatever, her cup. Something. Anyway, I've gone all off track already. Big surprise. Let's start at the beginning.
Yes, over at the Whitmore Dugan home, Courtney and Barbara race to pack, with Courtney even getting her mom's okay to bring the staff. That was cute.
Sorry, that was coming no matter what.
Yeah.
You can say no, Mom.
We need it to live.
Yeah.
Right?
And when Mike quizzes his dad at the auto shop about who takes kids out of school in November for a camping trip, I think some people do around Thanksgiving, but...
Oh, I guess Twilight, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. So, of course, Pat tries to build up to some serious truth-telling, but Mike is too fixated on the Chekhov's power drill. So Pat yells at him to put that down and listen to me, and Mike gets all obstinate and declares himself tired of being treated like a little kid and stomps away.
And right there, I'm like, well...
Yes, you stomp off.
Stop treating me like a kid. I don't want to listen. Blah, blah.
Yeah.
Hello. This is exactly what is happening. You are acting like a child. This is back to the Mike that I wanted to slap in the mouth.
Right.
Like right back to that first episode where I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, he was acting like a 2 or 3 year old, definitely.
Yes.
He needs to use his word. You can tell he's like really irritated that this Courtney and his dad have this bond, and he's feeling left out, but he's not adequately saying that he needs to. You want to be treated like an adult, you got to speak like one.
Yeah. Then Pat gets a creepy visit from bat welding Crusher, who admits his low-key gym buddy shocked the hell out of him being the pilot of a giant superhero robot.
Do you guys think that he realized who he was immediately?
No, not when he first meet him at the gym. Yeah.
Okay. Not till he mentioned about the robot. I mean, that's when I think it finally dawned on Pat, like, what is going on with this dude?
Right, yeah. Well, we know that Brainwave, once he got his memories back, remembered everything. So I'm sure that he informed them that, yes, Pat has this robot, so be wary.
Oh, right. Took me a second. I forgot that Crusher actually, fought the robot kind of anyway.
Right. He saw it. Yeah, he didn't fight it. That's when they ran, was when the robot showed up in their first encounter with the young JSA.
Yeah, well, you know what? You may be strong, but it's 3 ton? I don't even know how much cars weigh. Yes. Multi-ton robot. Yeah, I don't think you're going to take it. You're not Superman. DC.
Yeah.
Nice plug.
So, of course, they start to get into a scrap, and things are just as dicey back at their house as Barb almost gets hit with a Tigress crossbow arrow.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
And okay, so did she miss on purpose? Was my question. She wants to play with them first.
I don't know, because she shot at her head.
Right.
Barb was just really lucky.
Yeah, she just happened to bend down right at the right time. And of course, Tigress chases Barbara around the house, knocking her around until the staff shows up. And I loved how on several occasions, the staff basically catches Barbara in midair to keep her from getting hurt anymore.
Right.
That was awesome.
I'm like, okay, it's working finally in tandem. All right, this is what I need to do. I have to fight the villain. But Courtney also realizes, okay, I need to kind of try to save Mom. And it's like the staff is finally really reading. At least that's what I pulled from it. Reading what needs to happen, and they're working together. And it's not just, here's a tool that has a lot of power.
Right.
Yeah, I think that you're right there. Did I miss when they talked about each individual villain? Because those two are really strong, stronger than they should be. And so is their daughter. Did they mention that at all and I just miss it?
Well, it was in the episode where Courtney took everything out before the rest of the members got any practice in. So I don't really think that Pat got to explain each individual's strengths like he wanted to.
Okay.
Their daughter, I feel like they were just having her work out a lot. She probably has some underlying crazy power, but I think it was more they had her seriously crazy working out.
Like they do.
Yeah. True.
So meanwhile, back at the auto shop, Crusher invites Pat to go old school and join him in a fist fight where Pat actually does get a few decent shots in.
I was actually happy they did this.
Right.
I know that sounds stupid, but I'm like, if they're going with, I guess, weapons, we already seen that Sportsmaster, I can't get past that name.
Yeah.
But that he's got head and shoulders above Pat at that point. But possibly hand to hand, I felt all right, Pat might have a chance because Crusher is going to totally underestimate him.
Right.
So he got a few shots in. I mean, he did turn that head.
Yep, a couple times, but in the long run, no match.
No.
He starts tossing Pat all over the place and slamming him with the door over and over again.
Oh, I cringed. I don't know about you two.
Oh, yeah, right in the ribs. Yeah. Oh.
Ooh, yeah, that door.
And Crusher gets Pat pinned down and is just about to finish him off when, out of nowhere, Mike shows up with the power drill and right in the back.
I thought he got his spine at first.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Oh, he's not going anywhere. Which I would have been okay with. But still, I was like, oh, crap. But then I'm thinking, that was a pretty, long drill bit that was on there.
Right.
I know.
So
Kidney's gone.
Yeah, thank you. I'm like, didn't he hit something where...
He had to have.
But, next thing we know, he's walking around oh, yeah, that hurts. I'm like, dude,
yeah.
how are you up? seriously, boxers get hit and they're down. They're like, oh, I'm done.
Right. And of course, that gives Pat the opportunity to get up, snag one of his giant socket wrenches, and clocks Crusher good.
And again, is his skull crushed from that? 'Cause
Right.
That was a hella big socket wrench.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Pat was able to pick it up.
He's been working out.
Yeah, I guess. Or just working with it on Stripe, so
Right.
he's used to having to lift it and torque those bolts.
Right. So yeah, and then when we finally get Mike, like, oh, I wanted Pat to be like, this is what I was trying to tell you.
Right.
But Pat had his bell rung more than once, so I get it.
Right.
Gosh.
Yeah. Back at the house, Court continues to clash with Tigress, and Tigress actually gets her pinned when Barb pitches in with a well-wielded piece of pottery to the head of Tigress.
I wondered what she had used. I'm just like, I don't know, something broke, it worked.
Yeah. And that gives Courtney the opportunity to zap Tigress through the glass door. And of course, she looks at her mom and goes, sorry. And Barb goes, that was amazing.
Right, you are actually going to apologize. You almost died.
Yeah.
Just saying. Oh my gosh. All right. So there's so much. Let's talk about the Injustice Society. And can I just say, every time we see one of them, they're looking at the countdown clock.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, we get it, guys. You know, it's like shoving it in your face. I get it. We have a countdown. It's crazy. We're jumping ahead. But we also hear Henry Sr. then suddenly spell out the plan. And we're going to fire up Dr. Ito's machine. It's like, we're going to do this. And then the gambler's going to blind the Pentagon and blame it on Moscow. Nobody's going to know what's going on while I'm brainwashing millions of people. But don't worry, because those people, they'll think like us. They'll fight for us if need be, because the rest of the country won't take kindly for the flyover state's succession. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
You don't sound super creepy or anything. And I know we're going to get to it, but can I ask you to, when they did the test, did anybody else want his brain to melt? I mean, just me?
Yeah, when he said it could like melt his spine and stuff like that, I'm like, come on.
Yeah, please.
Just let it ooze a little out of his nose, something. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just like, be done. Oh my gosh. And when we go over to Jordan's house, oh my gosh, his parents went from sweet old grandparents to she was never good wife material. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, these people. Seriously. Like, all I can picture now is like they're trying to lure little kids into their stove and eat them or something.
Right.
It's like, they do not come off nice anymore. And oh my gosh, when they're like, let's tell Cameron what's going on. It's his birthright. Jordan was definitely not on board with that. And
yeah, they're creepy.
makes me wonder then if they have power. Like, what do you guys think? Because I don't know anything about this comic book wise.
Yeah, I don't either, but the fact that he has it and his son has it means it had to come from somewhere.
Right. It's hereditary.
Okay, so the dad does have it? I must have missed how it came. I mean, other than
We haven't seen it, but yeah, you have to assume that, seeing that Jordan and Cameron both have it. You figure that the grandfather probably does as well.
Okay. I wasn't sure if Cameron had it or if maybe he took after his mom and we're lucky
Well,
he's just an artist.
They showed that one scene where he was breathing and it was coming, like he was sleeping, and it was coming out of his mouth, like the cold
Yeah,
air.
it was the restaurant scene with the single cupcake for the mother's
Oh,
was it?
birthday. Yeah.
Am I like, did I have a dream or something? I swear to God, he was sleeping and it came out of his mouth.
I
Like,
thought that was Jordan.
was it?
The sleeping thing. Yeah, I think it was Jordan.
Oh, am I confusing too? I know I've seen the son.
Right.
Like they hinted at it, so I'm assuming that it came from his dad, who came from his parents, one of his parents.
Okay. It's weird. Like they haven't really talked about it, but then we don't know. This is why we need interdimensional Dave. He has this information.
Yeah.
He is the comic book person for us here. But anyway, I got us off track as always. So, but hey, I was distracted much like Jordan was distracted by a phone call with bad news because Sportsmaster and Tigress are not hitting their mark. And holy crap, who does he alert? I mean, looking at the lineup, there's not a whole lot he can do. So he alerts Principal Bowen. And after she decides to kind of, sort of tell her son about their family secret. Just a little bit. When, she's trying to tell him how to silence bullies. Wow.
Oh my gosh, I thought that was so weird because like the scene before or not the scene before, but it was like when they were around the round table and they wanted to bring the kids in and she's like, no, we said we keep them out, and then she like changed on a dime.
Yeah.
Right. But then I'm thinking, he's not exactly putting the tuba through somebody's eardrum. Like, maybe you should have taught him the violin. I don't know, just a thought. But then at the same time, I'm thinking, really? Somebody's picking on the principal's son? That's kind of a dumb move.
Right.
But we're going to let that go because there's a lot of dumb bullies. So you can't say it wouldn't happen, right? But she ends up going to the Whitmores, Dugan's, whatever, the house. And Tigress and Sportsmaster not too pleased to see her because, listen, you guys screwed up. Jordan sent me and I'm going to have to immobilize them so you don't screw up again. And holy crap, with what happened next, I was like, well, I'm sure that's going to go over like a lead balloon.
Oh, yeah.
Because Bowen and these two just don't see eye to eye. And she's like, you know what? I don't even know how your child survives. You two are horrible people. You're wild animals. You're unfit to be parents. And I was like, oh, crap. I don't know about you two, but right there, I'm like, and something's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I thought it was ironic because she's like, you're just calling them horrible parents and you basically just told your son to like hurt somebody.
Right.
Right.
Like, what are you saying? I don't understand, but.
Here's a tinfoil hat for you. I'm guessing that because she has sheltered her son all these years and not tried to push him into something that would take him down the ISA road, that she feels like she has the high ground. Whereas these two have pretty much been setting up their kid to take over both of their spots.
Right.
But when Tigress decides, yeah, I'm not taking this crap from anybody, and just shoots her with an arrow just straight through the heart, I'm like, well, that's not a good thing.
I pro-clutched. I was like, what? Because I was like, I'm like, how? How is this over? Oh my gosh. I did expect it. I was like, uh-oh. But then I didn't expect that to happen to like so many during this course of the season.
Yeah, because basically they've killed off their own.
Right.
And I feel like Jordan is going to end up taking one or both of them out, which is probably a bad idea since they seem to be the muscle. Because what are you going to left? The gambler? I don't see him actually out there doing a whole lot.
No.
Physically. I mean, yeah, he can hack away, but if somebody's in your face, there's only so much you can do.
Right. Yeah, he's the Beth of the ISA.
Right. So those two decide to leave because we'll just go back to the ISA and we'll figure this out. And we're going to leave the violin case behind because I'm sure that's a bright idea as well.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Anybody else? Like, I was just, lead balloon. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. So let's go back to the lair. And we see Cindy, who apparently they open up her little slot every so often, as she's yelling and begging Henry Sr. to let her out of her cell. Oh my gosh. And again, okay, if you pearl clutched the last one, Kim, this is where I was kind of like, because, of course, Senior's blaming Cindy for his son's death, saying, had you kept better tabs on him, I could have saved him. It's like, no, could you?
No.
When he was all like, I had to end him. Really? Because I have to be 100% on Cindy's side, which is weird, with this moment, because she counters with, well, maybe if you weren't in the hospital, drooling, and in adult diapers, you could have saved him. Because, truth be told, his powers did not come out at all until his dad was in the coma.
Right.
So not a whole lot that could have happened. But then Senior, oh my gosh, when he tells her that your father sees you nothing more than a failed experiment, I was like, oh, and we all feel the same. I was, hand to the throat. I'm like, oh, how could you say that? It's like, you really are cold. I don't know what your wife's seen in you. I was just like, there was a lot of that happening in that moment. And I think even Jason was like, wow, that's harsh.
And I think she's a better fighter. I think she's a better fighter than even the Sportsmaster. Like, I think if given the chance, she could do a lot better.
Yeah, I've got a nice little theory about, this Cindy's storyline can go one of two ways. One being the ISA just basically says, no, we're not going, if Jordan and Henry Sr. survive this next episode and Ito, they're just going to kick her out. Well, Courtney would sure love to have her on her team, and that would be pretty awesome to have her and Wildcat both on the same team. Now, the other option is Jordan and Henry both and Ito pass, and then she becomes the one in charge of the ISA.
I kind of felt like it might go where she ends up with the JSA.
Right.
But based on Dave's theory, the Beauty and the Beast theory that he had, which Kim, I don't know if you heard it, it was he thinks that Solomon Grundy is going to actually save Cindy.
Yeah.
That maybe she just steps away from all of it. Like those two kind of disappear for a while. Although that's a little weird and creepy.
Yeah, she's too vengeful for that. But I could see him doing that because his door was like banged open. And there's only a matter of time before he gets out of there.
Right.
And she's locked up too. Right. So he might be like, just lock people up that are different, or whatever, and save her. But she's way too vengeful to just be like, I'm above it all. I'm just disappearing.
Right. Yeah. She would use Solomon to knock off whoever she needed to knock off to take over the ISA.
I can see that happening, though.
Yep.
Like the more we talk about it, it's like, yeah. Let's talk about Cerebro. I mean,
the machine.
Oh my gosh,
like,
that's exactly what I thought.
The second they walk in, Jason's like, wait, did you flip the channel? I'm like, no, this is it. He's like, oh, what are they calling it? Is it something similar? I'm like, I don't think they actually called it anything. But it's like, even the platform. Come on, change it a little bit.
I know.
Make it look like a catwalk. I don't know, anything. And then when they have the back shot where he's in the chair, I'm like, just put a helmet on him. Seriously. Yeah. But yeah, I love that part when he's strapping Brainwave in. And Brainwave doesn't even think twice as he's getting strapped in. He's kind of looking, and you see like a slight question on his face, like, what are we doing? And then when he's like, well, yeah, your brain and spinal cord, just squish, possibly. But hey, are you ready to do this? I kind of feel like even if he said, yeah, I'm not even sure about this, it would have been like, here we go.
Yep, too late. Flip the switch.
No take backsies. It's like zap. And
there for a second, it looked like maybe it was going to fry Brainwave, but
I was hoping.
Yeah, I guess the extra juice he got from Junior allowed him to survive it.
And then when he's like, I can hear millions of their wretched thoughts. I'm like, come on. It's all sorts of creepy, dude.
Yep.
These people are parents of the year, let me tell you.
Right. And from there, we get to go to the cabin. A cabin? I'm sorry. Why wouldn't you go to, like, the JSA layer? But whatever. Maybe this is just me.
Well, most of the ISA knows, well, I don't know if they know where the JSA layer is or not. And the only way this cabin has got to be Barbara's family's cabin.
Yeah, it's a pretty big cabin, too.
Oh, yeah. It's like, whoa, hold on here.
That's like glamping at that point, don't you think? Like,
yeah.
I think cabin, and I'm going more like, oh, yeah, horror movie, Cabin in the Woods, like small like that, though.
Right.
Not this thing. I'm like, what is this? This would be like a house.
I know, it was nice. I was like, I wish.
It's bigger than what I'm living in.
Yep.
Same.
I'm not in the woods.
And so everybody is there when the Whitmores and Dugans show up, except for Justin, who shows up shortly thereafter with KFC.
Hey, he's bringing the food. I mean, they probably ate a lot of pheasant anyway, way back in the day. So yeah, he's got to work it out. He's got extras.
Yes. And we see Chuck suspecting that Henry Sr.'s powers have increased since Junior's death, which leads Beth to realize that Yolanda is still hurting over her ex's sacrifice.
That's definitely not something you're going to get over quick.
No, I wouldn't think so.
But question, how is Yolanda getting out other than sneaking out? Like, because her dad was in front of it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, so they all left school. Like, I can see the boy. Nobody really pays attention to him, but I don't know about the other two, those parents.
Well, I don't know, because the doctor and the salesman, Beth's parents, kind of, like, they're gone a lot.
Right.
So they seem to pay attention. Like they were like, "Where is our breakfast?"
Yeah.
They seem to pay attention to what she's doing. So I don't know. It doesn't fit the storyline. So I guess.
it did seem weird.
Yes. And then we get a scene where Rick gets to explain to a very curious Justin how the ISA killed his parents and figures that it must be because his dad figured out what they were up to and the secret lies within the journal. Of course, Rick can't figure out what the numerical sequence unlocks. Could be a code or a formula.
I wanted Justin to have the number.
Right. That would have been great.
Honestly, I thought it was going to end up being, oh crap, what was the name of the people in the picture? The 7 or the 8, whatever.
You're right.
I thought it was going to be like that. And he would just be
soldiers.
like, yes, thank you. Have you tried 7? You know,
Right.
just like something like that. And Rick I wanted that. So Rick would just have that look of, wow.
Right.
It was right in front of me, although it really wasn't.
It ends up being even more white in front of him. Yeah.
I'm like, how did you not try
that? Yes. But before we get there, we get to see Mike and Courtney have a little heart-to-heart, and Mike seems to be a little jealous of Courtney because he thinks, well, what if I'd have been the first one to find the staff?
Which is why I wanted her to pull out a bag, because I swear one of those bags that she grabbed was the bag of all the miscellaneous items.
The rest of the stuff.
Like, here, feel around in here. See if anything grabs you. Hopefully not literally, but I don't know. I still feel like his attitude, it's going to be something with that pen.
Right. It could be. Of course, he grabs the staff and nothing happens, which Courtney could have been pretty childish about that and kind of giving him a na-na boo-boo type thing. But she didn't, so at least she's grown up a little bit more since the beginning of the season. But of course, Mike...
You get your butt whipped enough.
Yeah. But Mike's hopes that someday he can do something for the JSA because, of course, his dad built S.T.R.I.P.E. Oh.
Yeah, and not like Pat's got superpowers.
That's right. And then we get another conversation between Barb and Pat about why he didn't tell her about his past before they got married. And Pat tells her, hey, everybody I knew was dead. I mean, I thought this was all over.
I thought that was interesting. Kim, I don't know about you, but like, if you're not just meeting somebody, but like, okay, you're dating, you still don't know everything about that person.
Nope.
And are you just going to be like, oh, by the way, I used to be a sidekick.
For a superhero? No.
Right. Yeah. Not exactly something I think that's going to come up over a milkshake.
Right.
Plus, it's not always believable. Like, you think she didn't even really believe until she saw.
Right.
So.
Even when she did see it.
It's true.
No, she had to disprove everything and bring in our weird douchey dad.
Oh my God.
Yes. But he tells her that their family was all that mattered to him. And so they agree that they want to try to make their marriage work. Well, let's hope so.
I feel like you're in up to your eyeballs at this point. Really?
Right,
You're going to be like, you know what? No, I'm going to walk away because I'm sure Jordan's not going to try to kill me then.
Right.
What?
And then we see Pat up checking on Rick. And of course, Rick's telling him that it's not any of their birthdays. And like a V8, it hits Pat. Oh, your dad had a Mustang. Try that. And
that makes sense when you go back to that first episode that we see with them.
Yeah.
And he gives them like that little Hot Wheels car. It's like, this is really important. I honestly thought it was going to be something in the car.
Right.
Like a little secret compartment. But yeah, that makes sense.
And of course, 1966 cracks the code.
But yeah, how did he not think of that when he was running through everything else?
Right.
Everything that has to do with his family. He had
days.
Birthdays and the car. That was pretty much it.
Yeah. Sure wouldn't have had anything to do with that dick of an uncle he had.
Oh
right?
Gosh, that guy's a jerk.
And I kind of feel bad. Why did they just kind of throw Justin in and then he's like, I'm going to go clean the bathroom? It's like, what?
He's a janitor. Come on.
I get it, but all right, Courtney needs to like let him hold the staff and open up his napsis or something. Like something's got to happen here because I feel so bad for that guy right now.
It seems like they're doing a lot of character like build up for the upcoming season. Like they're putting little pieces on there for us, and it's going to develop. I'm assuming in season 2, whenever that'll be.
Right.
I don't want to wait, but I feel like that's what they're doing.
It's going to be like 2024 before we get the next.
Gosh.
Yeah, the first woman's going to be landing on the moon from the Artemis project,
Right.
but we might get season 2. Although, to be fair, we probably won't get the next season of Sherlock until they land on Mars. So, we're fine. Anyway, what's the plan? Chuck decides, all right, I'm going to help out. I can't say decides. He was kind of told, but whatever. He scans the formula and translates everything into blueprints for the network of tunnels that the ISA is using. Those are a hell of a lot of tunnels. I was going to say blueprints, but tunnels and giant areas underneath this town. How has nobody noticed this? Like, ever?
Yeah.
Does nobody ever have to go into the sewers to fix anything? I don't know. It just seems odd. Or do they control absolutely everything? But whatever. Here's a leap. They figured out it's a giant synaptic amplifier to transmit brainwave. And okay, let's analyze the map. There's ways in and out, and S.T.R.I.P.E can get in using entrance by the river, and Courtney's going to go with. And hey, Rick and Yolanda, Justin, you're going to cause a distraction and come in from the opposite way, which I'm assuming the opposite is Dr. Ito's house, because that seemed to pop up. Which, why would they be selling that house, by the way? I feel like they would still be holding on to it. But whatever.
Yeah.
I'm taking jumps here. And Beth is going to run comms as much as she can and hopefully hack into the bad guy's computer and shut it down. But we have to do that from Barbara's office. So Barbara decides to pipe up and say she's joining too because nobody knows that building better than me. You're literally taking her into your office.
Right.
It's not like you're searching. Do you think that's where the gambler is? You're going to go fight him? Or are you just like, here's my room that I have in this building. Have at it. And obviously, she's just not paranoid enough because she doesn't have her camera on her computer covered. Throwing that out there, too.
Poor Mike, too.
Oh, what do I get to do? You have the most important job of all. You get to watch the dog. And at first, like, what? That's all I get to do? You know what? Yeah. Maybe, thinking about it, yeah, dude, you don't want anybody to know. You don't want them to know where you are. You hide out as long as you can. And yeah, you better protect that dog because if we lose another animal on any of these shows that I watch, I'm going to lose my mind. Just saying. And that dog is adorable with his little fat face.
Yeah.
Wrinkly butt. Anyway, as the teams make their approach everywhere, Beth hacks into the ISA computers. And I say hacks in because that seemed a little too easy.
Yes.
But she finds their manifesto, the new constitution, if you will. And it has such horrible and disgusting things such as combating global warming, forcing people to embrace solar and wind power, ending discrimination, supporting universal health care.
Huh?
Wait a second.
How evil.
Right? Are we on the wrong side of this? I love it when Rick's like, hey, Pat, are you sure they're the bad guys?
Yeah.
But then we get the bad guy part of this when Chuck interrupts them and he's like, well, the machine only affects fully developed minds, meaning adults, and also about 25 million of them will probably die because they're resisting too hard. Okay, there's the evil portion.
Yeah.
Then the gambler pops up. He's like, hidey ho. I'm going to hack your hack of our hack. It's like, whoa, okay, stop. Don't. My brain's going to turn to mush if you don't. And as he's taunting her about the countdown timer, which, that's not when it's going to start, darling. That's when it finally completes. It's like, oh, crap on toast. We only got 30 minutes because Brainwave is already doing stuff. And as this happens, we turn our heads to Barbara. And she's got that weird, like, I'm guessing nobody in the real world is seeing this. We're just seeing this so we know what's going on.
Right.
But, like, their eyes are, like, staticky TVs kind of thing. Like, oh, okay, because she's staring off. And I was laughing because when I totally zone out, I totally, like, turn my head like that and kind of stare off. I'm like, oh, my God.
So do I.
It's Brainwave. He's got us all. I just kept thinking, I'm like, that is totally what I do when I start zoning out. I'm like, oh, crap. But, oh, no, because it's not just Barbara.
Nope.
It's Justin. And again, oh crap, it's Pat. And Pat's in S.T.R.I.P.E. And Brainwave has figured out, oh, you know what? I've taken over minds, including Pat. So now S.T.R.I.P.E. is going to be a fighter for the bad guys. At least that's what it looks like.
Yep.
Mhm.
As Courtney's like, Pat, are you okay? And we see the first fist of S.T.R.I.P.E. thrown in Stargirl's direction. And scene. What?
I would have much preferred it not to work on Justin.
Right.
Because
Yes.
his mind it's not that it's not fully developed, but it's clearly missing something.
Right.
It would have been cool if it wasn't working on him.
And it may not completely work on him. I still think he might be useful. Now, I don't know how
really
Beth is going to get away from Barb.
Oh, well, hopefully Beth is just going to
I'm out.
yeah, sneak out of there like tiptoe before Barb pops her head up. But I really hope that Dave is right. He had mentioned that he thinks because Justin touched the staff and it helped him remember stuff, that it'll help break whatever, we assume it's Ito, whatever he's done to Justin.
Right.
So I'm hoping that he's right and that the staff is going to be able to bring back Justin and Pat and Barb. I mean, Barb right now is not top priority because she's not one of your fighters right there, but
Right.
we're still hoping that it brings it. But I'm thinking if the staff has to touch him and Pat's in S.T.R.I.P.E., that's going to be really hard to have happen.
Right.
So-
And maybe that's how Solomon gets out, is S.T.R.I.P.E. rips the door off.
Oh.
And then we get to see them battle.
Or maybe, here's a thought. I love how I start throwing, like, just building off of this. Like, they're fighting in the hallways somehow, and then, you know how he has that rocket launch hand?
Right.
Like, she ducks and it hits the door that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kim, what do you think?
I don't understand why it's not. Well, I guess I do kind of understand why it's not affecting the JSA. I mean, Brainwave can't do everything, right? So he's concentrating on like billions of people. Like, I just don't feel like he could protect them as well from it. Or did they swallow some magic pill?
I was
Did I miss
wondering
it?
that actually. Like, how the heck did the Injustice Society, like, they're not being affected? But maybe they all have little metal thingies on their head, like Ito put on Brainwave's head.
No, I don't think
Maybe that'll do
Brainwave's even focusing on controlling them yet. Now, could it happen? Oh, yeah, it could very well happen.
Oh, that's right. He has to actually focus on. Well, yeah. I guess he has to focus on the mass.
Right.
And
I
I guess he
still
could
think-
eliminate them. That's a lot.
Yeah, I still think that Ito did something to Brainwave. And
I-
so maybe it's something in his programming like that keeps them safe.
Right. And it very well could be.
I think he's done something to all of them. Like, honestly, there's no way that Sportsmaster would get up after taking the thing to the back like
Yeah.
that. Like, I think
True,
he's
yeah.
experimented on all of them personally. Like, because he can heal and his daughter can very quickly. So, but that's just my random theory. I don't know anything about these characters, like, from the comics, so I'm not sure.
That's an interesting thought, though, that if
Yep.
he's done something so that they can all heal, but maybe not to the same extent as Courtney. What does this mean for our children in the JSA?
Yeah.
Are they really going to be able to defeat them at any point?
I'm hoping for a draw.
Something. I don't know. Because who knows how it's going to turn out if Justin ends up fighting Courtney. I think it'll be bad. I don't know. Maybe his son will come and try to save Courtney. There's so many what ifs happening, and we have one episode.
Right.
It's not going to wrap it all up.
No,
No.
it's not. We know it's not.
No. And we'll probably get some unbelievable cliffhanger. So we won't know who's alive and who's not until episode 1 of season 2, which might be in 2 years.
But
Yeah.
at least we know we have a season 2.
Yes.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
We do. The CW will never get rid of any DC show. It
No.
just won't.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Well, like, look at what they just keep adding. They don't have the room and they keep adding.
Well, Supernatural won't be on anymore.
Right. And I think this is Arrow's last season too.
No, but I think they've added several shows.
Yeah, they have.
It's like the never-ending DC. And then we're going to have more DC. And don't they have a second streaming service coming out?
I have no
the
idea.
DC Fandom or something like that. There's a lot of stuff happening. I don't know. But DC fans, let us know. Shoot us an email at contact us at fangirlzone.com if you know what's going on. Because we'd love to find out and know your thoughts and any comments you have on the season and series and what is different from the book. I know there is a comic book that's going to be released. I want to say it was ISA Year 1. I could be wrong with the name, but it's supposed to show ISA, JSA, and the JLA all together. So that is coming out soon. I just seen a quick little snippet, like it was the cover picture, and I cannot for the life of me remember. So check your local comic book store and see what's going on there.
I'm going to have to look for it because I need a little bit background on these characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to call my local one, see which one's open still with all of this craziness happening in the world. But while I research that, if you wouldn't mind rating and reviewing us on iTunes and every other platform you find us on, because good ratings and reviews help other fans of the show find us, tell your friends about the show. They can totally binge now. At this point, they can binge the whole season because they can watch the finale with you. And you guys can tell us your thoughts on everything. Because, like I said before, I was not expecting this show to be this good. And off air, Kim had actually thought pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I have no problem eating crow. When I saw the first trailer, I was like, that looks a little silly.
Yeah.
But it brought it, and it's a show that I really, really enjoy, and I can't wait for the second season.
Yes.
Yeah. You got to trust Beeman and Jeff Johns.
And with any luck, we will get a Comic-Con soon before the season, and we'll get a panel with these people. That would be great. I was really hoping we were going to get a panel, but that didn't happen. I thought CW was going to have a huge thing. Just didn't happen for San Diego Comic-Con. So fingers crossed we'll get something before the next episode or next season, not episode.
New York, maybe?
Maybe. That'll be nice. But Kim, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Oh, thank you. You can find me over at www.thenerdelement.com or all forms social media at The Nerd Element.
And you guys know to head over to www.fangirlzone.com to our contacts page to find out every place we are. You can shoot us emails. You can tweet with us. You can shoot us random stuff on Tumblr. We love all of it. And for this episode of Star Power, I am Sean Fangirl S.
And I'm Steve. Why isn't there a brainwave blocking circuit on S.T.R.I.P.E?
And until next time.